the meeting, but it's good to see you all on this lovely afternoon. At least the weather here is lovely. Oh,
Dylan, remind me where is here for you?
Kenner, Louisiana, as a
Ah.
suburb of New Orleans.
Very good. Very
Yes,
good.
ma'am.
Yes.
It's, yeah, the weather's been, I mean, it's like one day it's 80 degrees and then one day it's 40, but you know.
Ohio's the other direction. One day it's 0, the next day it's 40. You just never know. Now, last weekend, Rob, I came down to Florida and I think I brought the colder weather with me because while I was there, it was only in the 50s all 4 days.
Where were you?
Jacksonville.
That's not Florida. That's Georgia. Come on now. That's South Georgia.
Sorry.
Down here in South Florida, where it's never cold, it's been a nice winter where we've had some temps in the 60s for highs, and we actually got into the 40s a couple days for lows. It's a miracle. Got another cold front coming next weekend, but yeah, down here, if we get anything with a 4 in front of it, it's pretty much a miracle. So usually we're in the 60s, 70s this time of year. In about a month, we'll be back to the 90s for highs. But it's not climate change. It's not. So
maybe while we're waiting, we're going to wait till you said about 3:05 to start, that everybody who is on right now could maybe put in the chat where they're coming from, where they are watching us from.
Yeah, and maybe we can introduce ourselves, and even the adults, just because we're all going to be at National Convention and stuff this year. So my name is Dylan Roten. I'm the, look at that. Those are some cool answers. I'm the National Student Delegate President. Yeah, I'm from Kenner, Louisiana, but I say I'm from New Orleans because I live 15 minutes away and go to school in New Orleans and everything. So yeah, Mardi Gras starting, my favorite time of the year. I've been to 3 balls already. Yeah.
Hi, I'm Audrey. I'm the secretary and I'm from Middle Tennessee, Nashville area, about half an hour south of there. Yeah, the weather's pretty cold here still, but it's very nice and sunny.
Hi, my name's Sharva. I'm the current vice president, and I can promise you Florida is not getting cold anytime soon. Actually, maybe it is, but it's not cold right now.
And then, but Rhea is not joining us today, correct? And she's Washington State.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
My name's Rita Ralph. I'm the president of Mu Alpha Theta, at least until July. I've been president for the past couple of years. And then Rob takes over.
yep, I'm Rob Snow from Deerfield Beach, Florida, which is about 15 minutes north of Fort Lauderdale. And I will be the president for the Vegas and Orlando conventions. And I am also the host of the Orlando convention in 2025. For all of you who want to come to Central Florida and do some theme parks, plan your life accordingly. We're more than welcome to have you.
All right. I'm Dana Wade. I am the executive director of Mu Alpha Theta, and we are at the University of Oklahoma in Norman. So that's where I am currently, and we have about 34 people on all together now. And we said if you can put your location where you're coming from in the chat, so we can know who we're talking to and how far we're going. So I have it's 3:04. So you all
Also, if you have any general questions during the meeting, everybody please put them in the chat, and we will answer them for you if we know the answers to the questions.
All right, are we about ready to begin? All right, well, welcome to our Mu Alpha Theta national meeting for today. This is our second meeting. If you were here for the first meeting, we are moving on to some new topics, so it won't be super repetitive, but we do have some links throughout the presentation that link back to some of the old presentation for more information about um, other topics. Like you'll see it when we get to them. Okay, so let's just go ahead. So this meeting, one of the things we're going to talk about this meeting are some of the things that you can do with your club. So every club works differently. There are thousands of chapters across the United States. And I'm sure the way that we do our chapter in New Orleans is a little different than the way that Sharva does his and Audrey does hers. And that's, good. But we wanted to come up with some ideas to kind of stimulate involvement in your local chapter. So we have a little list together, and these are just some of many, many ideas that you could have for your chapter. So ice cream social or other, not necessarily ice cream social, but an ice cream social or some sort of social event like a dance or a sock hop or something, where the proceeds go straight to the club. And this is good. I know at least in my local chapter, we have a lot of members, and we don't ask too much of our members on the usual, except for working art tournament and going to at least another local tournament. So this can be one of your club's like main things that can donate, that can, help financially support the club. So another one we have are short math games with candy prizes and divided by division. And by the way, when we refer to division here, we mean mu, alpha, and theta, which are, actually it starts theta and then alpha and then mu on the different ranges of topics in mu, alpha, theta. And then quarterly bonding events. So this was, so as Sharva explained it to me a little earlier, so like with his chapter, one of the things they do for like quarterly bonding events is they do like an escape room or a day in the park or a Christmas like white elephant to help, like a white elephant gift exchange to, again, stimulate more involvement in your Mu Theta. And then similar thing with a homecoming float or a holiday party. Just different ways to, think outside of the box, think outside of just math, all the time. Because obviously we love math here, we love math and Mu Theta, but as a club, we have other ways to, support each other. So yeah, moving on.
So I know a lot of clubs struggle with what are they going to do at meetings. Several clubs at our school, not Mu Alpha Theta, they just kind of like spit out dates that are going to happen in the next couple of months and then dismiss you from the meeting. So we came up with a couple ideas of how to kind of stimulate the meetings and make them more interesting, make them more worthwhile for people coming to them. The first option would be a student-led lectures for each division, Mu Alpha Theta. And these would be like kind of just outside of the classroom ways for like students to practice on the knowledge they're getting from their teachers, or like kind of learn more about like the subject they're in from someone not their teachers. So like having someone around your age or seeing someone new really helps them learn better, just kind of like diversifying the topic. Another idea would be inviting guest speakers from math-related fields. I know a lot of students at my school are really interested in math, but then have no idea how to like pursue that in college or beyond high school. So you could have somebody that's like a biostatistician or an actuary or an engineer come and speak at a meeting to students in your chapter. Final idea is past individuals, cipherings, or team rounds from past competitions. Those are really easily accessible online. You can print them out or give them online to your students and kind of go through the process of how to solve them to increase your math skills.
And even to tack onto that, so my local club at Brother Martin, because I go to Brother Martin High School, most of our meetings we do practice the competitions. Like we'll do around a ciphering, we'll do like math bowl to practice, and even within there you can have intra your Mu Alpha Theta like competitions, which again, going back to the first slide, that is, a good competition with, and then we have our meeting. It's, it's a good time. So yeah, that's my favorite. But yeah, the other opportunities, like I would even say something like it's almost like shadowing, like, or like learning from, you know, professionals in the field is a great thing, especially us being a math honor society. So, all right, moving on.
So I just wanted to talk a little bit about a video contest that Mu Alpha Theta specifically runs, and it's actually happening in the month of February. And so the Math Minutes video contest, it's basically an opportunity for you to band with your clubmates, and you basically make a video. I think you can submit up to 3 videos ranging on whatever mathematics topic you want, and you basically make a video. It's supposed to be entertaining, where you kind of explain that concept while also having fun elements to it. So one thing I want to emphasize is that no logos of your school, nothing that shows that you're from a specific school can appear in the video, because a lot of teams, what they'll do is by accident, they'll leave a logo somewhere in the video, or like someone in the video will be wearing their school logo on a shirt. And this causes you to either be disqualified or really penalized. So make sure when you're making these videos, you don't make that mistake. Also, there's a link in the PowerPoint, and we're going to send out the PowerPoint after the meeting is over, and you can click on all these links. But when you go there, you'll see on that website, it'll have a lot of different information about the actual challenge itself, but also it has different documents. For example, one of them's a tips and tricks document on hints and different strategies you can take to improve your videos. And then there's also rules that you should follow when doing the video, just to make sure that you don't lose any points for unnecessary reasons. I'd really recommend this because, especially at my school, when I was a freshman, I had the opportunity to do the video contest, and it was a really fun opportunity just to do things with my club members while also be able to produce something that we're ranked against other schools across the nation. Also, if you have any questions about the video contest, you can just send them in the chat, and I'm sure we'd be able to answer them.
All right, thank you. So one of the big things that we think about with Mu Alpha Theta is obviously national convention, or if your state has a state convention, state convention. So with national convention, sometimes one of the limiting factors to getting as many people as you can to attend is the price and the money, And so one of the things that we wanted to emphasize this year, and one of the things that the officers and I have really tried to make a priority when, discussing these things with people, is ways to fundraise and ways to get as many people to national convention as possible. So at the bottom, we do have a link to a broader discussion about the fundraising activities, but just some of the highlights that we have are running a middle school Mu Alpha Theta competition, which is a very popular event. I want to say, Audrey, did your school or your area do one of those?
Yeah, we did like a mini Mu where like it was just, we did a series of math tests. You can actually get like volunteer hours for writing the test. You would have proofreaders, all of that to like create different levels of math tests. We had like, I think 4th or 5th grade through 8th grade. And then we would just proctor like middle schools completing these tests and like competing against each other. So it kind of like fosters early on kind of the math spirit of Mu Alpha Theta.
Yeah, my school also does a middle school tournament, and one of my favorite parts of it is that we do a math relay race. And so it's like they have their problems to work out, but then they have to like run and go check and make sure it's right. And it's like you get a bonus point if you like, hop on one leg doing it. And it's just, so it's like fun activities for, it's a fun experience overall. And the proceeds of that can go to your club and help pay for national convention. And yeah, and then in part also that adds to, gets younger students getting involved with math and the love of learning, which is, kind of the ultimate spirit of Mu Alpha Theta. So yeah, and then just a couple other ones we have, tutoring, our homework club, like being an honor society, to being able to be there for some of the other students and tutoring, same thing with midterm and final review sessions with your classes. And similarly hosting a trunk or treat event for elementary schoolers. Just these are just activities to engage with your school community more and raise money for your clubs. And so if you have any more interest in that, you can go ahead and click the link for fundraising activities.
I just wanted to add a little bit more onto the point about tutoring and homework club. So what my school does is we have something called Math Lab, which is like an opportunity for people in the club they stay after school like on a specific day. And all the teachers across the campus, they send students to that after school as like a kind of a help session after school. And it's also one of the requirements to become inducted into the National Honor Society at our school is to do the volunteering for that. And you have to do it a certain amount of weeks to become a member. And so your school could do something like that to make sure that everyone in the club's participating. But it could also just be a regular activity for people in the club to get volunteer hours, especially because it is an honor society.
All right. Yes, my school does it similarly with National Honor Society. So yeah. All right. Moving on to the competitions, the other affiliated competitions. So the biggest thing, obviously for us being Mu Alpha Theta, we have, and this will make sense as we go on in the presentation because we've linked and we're going to talk about some of the other affiliated or really popular math competitions. But obviously the biggest one for us is Mu Alpha Theta National Convention 2023, which is the 25th to the 30th of June at the University of Arkansas. And all of this information, thank you, Sharva. Sharva just sent it. It's in the sponsor packet. But just really briefly, because we talked about this in the first meeting already, but when I'm making my pitch about National Convention to people, the biggest thing that I like to emphasize is that we have excursions with, biking and hiking in the Ozarks or the Crystal Bridges Museum of Art, and how it's such a great experience being able to meet people from all over the country that you would have never met before. And these are people, I mean, we have fun in all of the downtime that we have fun in the competition. And then we have a college mixer, an ice cream social, we have yoga and yoga and Pilates in the morning. So like these are all great fun activities that contribute to an overall amazing experience. So yeah, and it's not just 24/7 math. Um, yeah, so I really encourage you to try your hardest to engage and try to make it to a national convention. Yeah, do you guys want to say anything else about it?
Yeah, so another great part about National Convention for me was the guest speakers. So there's a bunch of different guest speakers from different fields, and they talk about their experiences in math and also just broader in general. You can ask them questions about anything that you're wondering about the field. And so it's also a great opportunity if you're interested in pursuing math to kind of get more context on ways you can do that in high school and also just the different industries that you can apply math in later on once you actually do get to college and graduate.
Yeah, I attended a session where we're still kind of coming out of COVID, and it was like the math of COVID. And it was just kind of like an interesting way that math is kind of niche and to somebody's interest that they can work with as a career.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to add that if your school has never gone to a convention, there are first-time attendee grants that you can get if money is tight. So, and the competition is available to your colleges, and those same grants are available to them as well. There's also grants for low income. If you are on, I think the requirements are that you're on a free or reduced lunch program, or if it's a private school, you could be on scholarship and you qualify for the low income grant to come for free or reduced price as well.
Yes, and the registration fee this year is $550 per person. That includes everything at the convention. It includes your dorm room shared with one other person and all of the meals that we'll have there at the university.
Thank you for that. Yes. So yeah, and I think that's more economical than last year. So hopefully more people are able to participate and we just get more people. So yes, thank you. And moving on.
So
So
I
the
guess,
AMC, oh,
yeah, go for it, go for it.
sorry, the AMC 1012 is a math competition. It's individual based test. 25 minutes, or sorry, 25 questions, 75 minutes. So you do it within like one day. Past year registration deadline was October 26th. So if your club wanted to do this next year, you'd have to sign up by then. And then AMC 10 is if you're in 10th grade or below, and 12 is if you're in 12th grade or below. Basically, it's just an opportunity for your club to get involved in math competitions, not at your school or among other schoolmates.
I just wanted to add on that specifically for Mu Alpha Theta, especially when I was applying for the scholarships this year, within that application, it does ask for your performance on other competitions, including the AMC specifically. And so it's really good to do well in these exams because you will be able to use those scores. Also, for any people who are going to be seniors next year, or if you're just a sophomore, freshman, sophomore, it's also a lot of colleges, specific colleges like MIT, Carnegie Mellon, they ask for the scores on these competitions as part of the application. And so if you've taken these tests, it can help you sometimes in the process.
All right. Thank you. I didn't know that actually, so that's pretty cool. Cause yeah, so I'm sure there's a bunch of people on this Zoom. I'm a junior, so I still, that's actually very useful. Thank you for sharing that.
So the next one that I wanted to talk about was ARML. I call it ARML at my school, but there's two versions of it. There's ARML and then ARML local. And so the first one isn't the on-site competition. It's being hosted at UNLV, Penn State, Iowa, and the University of Alabama, Huntsville last year. I'm not sure, I'm pretty sure the locations are the same for this year. And this is a more team-based competition. It's teams of 15. And so especially if your school is near one of those locations, it can be a kind of short trip for you to participate in a competition outside of your local area. And it's also a great opportunity to meet other schools from other states, especially because they come a lot of different regions. For example, I live in Florida, but we go to Alabama or we used to go to Georgia when it used to be hosted there. And so also it's there's also the ARMA local, which is the offsite version of, it's similar. It started during COVID. They were doing it, a lot of people participating in it during COVID because the in-person was obviously not available. And so the thing about this competition is it's mostly focused, there's many team-based rounds within it. So there's a team round, but then there's also a proof-based aspect that you work with your teammates. And then the most fun part of it is the relay, which is kind of where you split the 15 off into groups, and it's groups of 3, and each person gives their answer to the person behind them. And it's similar to how at nationals we also have relay. And so this can also be kind of like a good practice for the kinds of competition you'll see at national convention. Okay, so the next one, so all these links, just to remind, when we send out this PowerPoint, all the links to underline, that's going to be links. If you just click on it, you'll be able to get the link for all of these, so you don't need to go out and search for them. But the next one I wanted to talk about was Continental Math League. And so this is a competition that's there's a lot of competitions like Math Olympiad. I know that some schools participate in, especially in middle school, but there's not usually as many competitions to practice for calculus outside of Mu Alpha Theta. And so this is one of the few competitions I've seen that has a calculus specific division. And the best part about it is it's mostly based on AB content. So, and it's structured around the AP curriculum. So if your school is willing to participate, it's a great opportunity. There's 4 contests throughout the year. I think it's every month there's one. And each test will have 8 questions. And it's extremely good for getting introduced to calculus, especially because Mu Alpha Theta, it gets hard. It's designed for you to have finished the curriculum, but and national convention can sometimes be intimidating. So it's good if you do these contests throughout the year and kind of build up to that. And yeah, as Mr. Snow said, it's also really good for preparing for the AP exam because it is designed, structured around that.
So the ASMA is a lot like easier for schools to participate. It's only 35 minutes and you get sent either the paper test or the online test, and you can just take it at your school. And it is, you do have a calculator, and it's also 6 contests. So you'll have like ASMA number 1, ASMA number 2, each with 7 questions. So as I said, it's really short, and it's just kind of periodically throughout the year to kind of like, we have them usually after school, and you can just like come to the competition. You have to have at least 8 students from your school to be reported for the school-based awards. And then you also have individual awards for if somebody just performs well individually. But it's a lot easier than a lot of the competitions. You have to go a whole weekend or a whole day to.
And so the final contest that we wanted to talk about was, it's not a specific contest, but it's more of a website that you can use to find contests. And so AOPS, you might know it as the Art of Problem Solving. They're a big website for specifically math competitions. And within it, there's a specific area within the website where students themselves run mock contests. And so these can be similar to the AMC contest, but it can also be based off of other contests. For example, I know that Mu Alpha Theta members before, they've made their own Mu Alpha Theta mock contests. And this can really help if you're looking around. We'll definitely be sending these out if anyone does start similar competitions on the server, but it's also a great opportunity for you to find any practice problems for contests that might be coming out where it's less high stakes. It's more of just an opportunity for you to try out problems, and there's not really the pressure of having to do really well. Also, these contests are always free to participate, and sometimes they may even have prizes. And the best part is that there's always one going on. So you never have to worry about, oh, there's not a competition. And even if there happens to not be any that interest you, it also has, there's been like thousands over the years that people have, hundreds to thousands that people have run over the years. And so it's also just a great place to, if you just scroll through it, you can see a bunch of past contests. And if any of those have problems that you're interested in, it can be a really good opportunity.
All right, so that concludes most of the ideas and opportunities that we wanted to share at this meeting, but are there any questions or ideas? You can put them in the chat or unmute. Yeah, and these can be questions or ideas about what we should do at National Convention next year, questions about National Convention or about the national organization as a whole, or any of those competitions that we mentioned just now.
So I have a very specific question. That we are Dallas College. So we're all the Dallas County Community Colleges just got merged. It's full deal. We have me. I'm the president of the chapter, and another member are only high school students. And both of us will be transferring out of high school this semester. So my question is, do we have, like, because I've looked at the website of, like, heard this, and all of it is high school oriented. Are there any specific things that community colleges can do, or any competitions other than the Mu Alpha Theta one that are focused towards college students?
So when Mu Alpha Theta started, it was for 2-year colleges and high school students. As the competition became more intense, the high school student aspect of it seemed to take over more and seems to overshadow the 2-year college part. However, the 2-year college representative to the governing board and I started before the pandemic, and it kind of got put on the side. We're hoping to bring it back by next year for a special contest at nationals where you're in your own room, you're competing for your own trophies, you have your own separate competition. The goal is to have at least, I think it was 4 or 5 2-year colleges commit to coming to nationals. Beyond that, you're asking about competitions you can enter in the meantime. I know at our local community college, they do have at least one other competition that's local that the students can get involved with. So that would really be up to your school sponsor
Right.
to help you find those.
Tarrant County next to us has a few of those. So I think we can find those. My question is more of like state, region, district, national level competitions.
There is one that my local community college does, but I can't remember the name of it. And I can, if you email me, Dana, is my email on the website?
Yes, I do think your email is on the website under the.
If you email me, Grant,
governance
from the
and-
website, I can email you the competition that Columbus State Community College does.
That would be great.
Yeah.
And then I have one more question. That's one of our members is a parliamentarian for student government. And in our we're rebuilding the chapter. In our bylaws, he noticed a few issues. I want to just clarify our organizational like everything is through the national chapter, right? That's our power of authority, correct?
Yes.
And then our chapter name can be included in the name of the chapter. Like we can say Dallas College Mu Alpha Theta Math like Honor Society, right?
As long as you're registered with us and you're in good standing, yes.
Right. Okay. Just double checking. That should be it. I'll text if I have any more questions. Thank you.
Well, the link to Miss Ralph's email is in the chat for you to open, and it will lead to the webpage where all the emails are for the governing council.
Great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So we got the question, any Pi Day ideas? So
I know there was one that we talked about a little bit at the last meeting, especially in the fundraising section. So a lot of schools, I know what they do is a Pi Day bake sale where they actually sell pies to kind of relate to Pi Day. And that's kind of like a funny joke at some schools that a lot of people will just like buy the pies just because it's Pi Day. And so that can kind of be a way to kind of diversify fundraising from just like a regular bake sale where you're selling like cupcakes, donuts, cookies.
Also, you can always have competitions to see who can memorize the most digits of pi, and like the winner gets like some candy or something kind of simple, but it's just kind of a way for everybody to come together and memorize some digits of pi.
So could somebody talk about the possibilities for the excursion this summer? So the details about the excursion, or at least some of the details of the excursion, are on the sponsor packet that Sharva linked earlier. But basically you get to choose on one of the days, like most of the day is blocked off for the excursion, and you get to choose between going to the Crystal Bridges Museum of Art or going on the nature oriented like hiking in the Ozarks. And so honestly, beyond saying that, I think our knowledge is pretty limited beyond that. If you want to take a glance over the sponsor packet, I'm sure that'll have more information about, the choice. So
I did a site visit to the University of Arkansas back in November, and we did go to Crystal Bridges. It's an amazing place. It has stuff inside, outside. It has a sorry, I'm gonna forget the name, the architect, Frank Lloyd Wright. It has a Frank Lloyd Wright house on the grounds that you can go in and see. All kinds of different mediums of art and different presentations and all kinds of things. It was really a very, very cool place. As far as the other excursion that we know of right now, the biking and hiking in the Ozarks, that is going to be put on by some people at the University of Arkansas there in Fayetteville. And so I know in some other things that we've put out, there's been a link to that, and it's just a link to their organization, their part on campus there. So I personally don't know more about that particular excursion, but I do know that the one to the Crystal Bridges, it's really fun. We'll take buses there, lunch will be provided, we'll bring everybody back on the buses. And so and you can find out more just about Crystal Bridges itself on their website, but it's really a beautiful and amazing place. No, we are, as far as the question about the free places, the excursions are included in the registration fee, as is the lunches that will be provided at those places. And we don't have to make reservations, but what we will do is after everyone has registered, we'll put out some extra information to all the sponsors who are coming and ask them if they could guesstimate, or how many of their kids want to go to the Crystal Bridges and how many would rather go to the outdoor excursion. So we'll know more then.
All right, do we have any more questions about anything Mu Alpha Theta related?
I have tons of questions, but I want to let someone else speak.
And Grant, you're welcome to call us at even at the national office anytime, and we can answer your questions. Karen's in the office every day. I'm in the office every day, and we'd be happy to help you, kind of wade through all the stuff that's involved in, creating a chapter or reactivating a chapter and getting things going on your end. So we'd be happy to do that.
Sure.
I would also encourage you to get with our AMATIC, the 2-year college representative. He is a full-time professor at a 2-year college, and he can help you with a lot of things, a lot of your questions as well, since he's actively a sponsor and on our board.
Yes, and he on our website, that's Jonathan Weisbrod. Yes, yeah. And he's great. He's in New Jersey, and he's a wealth of information about 2-year colleges as well.
Right. Okay. And then where's the phone number on the website? Is it just under?
It should be everywhere, but it's area code 405.
Oh, I see it. 405-325-0144.
Yes, that's it.
Great. Thank you.
And we're in Central Time, if that helps you at all too. So
we're in Central Time.
Yes,
we're fine.
All righty. So Audrey, Sharva, is there anything else you two would like to add?
I think we basically covered everything.
Also, for the person asking about excursions, last year it was like, it's different every year. So like if you're a sophomore now, it'll be different for your junior year. But last year, like we were in DC. So we like went into like downtown DC area, National Mall, and just kind of like toured some of the museums there. So it's just kind of, you probably go more with your school and then just tour like the museum or go bike riding or hiking.
Alrighty then. Is there anything else the adults would like to add?
No.
Well, if not, then thank you all for coming to our meeting. Our next one will be in March. Ooh, what's the
March 5th.
March 5th.
Hmm?
Thank you. So please join us March 5th. Thank you for everyone who joined for another successful meeting. Yeah, and hope to see y'all in Fayetteville this June.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Okay, guys, I'm going to end the meeting and then I'll get the recordings up on our YouTube channel and all that this week. Thank
All right.
you. Thank you guys for
Thank
doing
you.
this.
Of course. Thank you.
All right, we'll
Thanks.
talk soon.
Bye.
All right.
Thanks,
Bye,
bye.
everyone.
Bye.
Mr. Snow, see you in 2 weeks.
Bye, guys.
Yes, goodbye, Charlotte.